keep on riding on the freeway. Keep pretending that it's pretense. Sinking down low, the further we go, the better it feels. We keep on driving like the
Ready? Jeez, I think you've added 10,000 views to this one yourself, Izuku. I don't know why you like it. I think it's scary.
He's the coolest in the universe! And once I get my quirk, I'm gonna be a hero just like him!
You want me to help you pick out your hero name?
Yeah! I can't decide which one I like most!
Let's see here. There's Mighty All Man and Mighty Boy. Oh, All Might Jr.
That's me!
Mighty Man or Captain All Might. Ooh, I like Super All Might.
Super!
Oh, help me!
I'm here! She's in the background, and she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to be in.
Take that and rewind it back. Lil John got the beat to make your booty go. Take that, rewind it back. Ursula got the voice to make your booty go.
Cause I don't like to wait long. Kind and ain't afraid to cry or treat is not alright. That's right, that's what I like.
I finally found a suitable piece of ash. The time is finally here to make a Hurley. Now we can't use any old piece of ash. It has to be from the roots. You can see there the trunk would have been here and all of this would have been underground and the grain curves. First thing we'll do anyway is grab the pattern and just place it down onto the ash there and match the curve of the Hurley with the grain of the wood. Then we use our pencil here just to kind of mark out where it's going to go. Normally the shape then would be cut out with either a bandsaw or a jigsaw, but in our quest to do everything the old school style, I have the old ripcut saw here that we're going to use to cut out the shape. We have it cut the whole way along down to the curve, but I couldn't get the saw to twist. So we have a handy little tool here known as a keyhole saw, and if you see there, we just stick it in like that. We can use it to cut this curve here. The rough shape of it now, lads. Now we need to come at it with the old coping saw. Times like this now with the coping saw that I wish I used power tools the odd time, but there's no tools like the old tools. Feck it anyway. There we go. I'd say we use an old drop of oil this time maybe. To cut this dip into the Hurley, we've just made a load of cuts along this part of the ash, and then we come along with our mallet and our chisel, and then we can just pop all them off one by one. Callum, and he giving me all the inspiration I need. Good man yourself. So it's finally starting to look like a Hurley. Now we need to bring out the spoke shave and the hand plane to round it out and smooth it. For those of you not from Ireland who might be a bit lost, Hurling is a native Irish sport of Gaelic origin, and once upon a time they would have just used sticks, but at some point we decided to start making them out of ash planks. We have her attached to the table here now, and we're just using the 4.5 to thin out the handle so it's thinner than the head. I have a whittling knife here then I'm going to use just to carve out this part here on the back of the handle. I'm using a wooden spoke shave then along the shaft just to round out the edges. It's important to go with the grain or else you get something known as tear out. It's fairly hard to see on camera, but see all these little rough patches? That's the tear out. It's hard enough to explain why tear out happens, but imagine you're petting a dog or a cat and you decide to rub them against the natural flow of their fur instead of with it. She prefers when you go with it, so we'll do that. I'm after spending nearly an hour or so smoothing it out, and the final step is to come along with this thing here. It's known as a cabinet scraper, and it's what they would have used instead of sandpaper once upon a time, and we're just going to come along and take a last shaving off it just to finish it off and make it smooth. Last but not least, we'll grab a few shavings and just kind of rub it along the Hurley at speed, and the friction will make a nice shiny burnish on the Hurley. So here we have it, lads, ready to go. You can see there it's flexing. I probably went a bit heavy on it, but I can always shave down more down the line if I need to. I'm quite happy with it, first ever Hurley, so we'll see now if we can swing with it. Now I'm nobody's all-star, but we'll give it a go. Well, you didn't break any windows. The Valley Rovers might take me on yet. I would also like to dedicate this video to my beloved mother, who at some point today will come to find 2 of her coffee mugs have made a high-speed visit to the kitchen floor. I love you, Mum. Also to ash. It makes very strong, flexible, shock-resistant timber. Unfortunately, due to ash dieback, I'd say we'll be seeing a lot less ash Hurleys and a lot more bamboo ones down the line. Also, a big shout out to Calum from LMG Sports. He gave me a load of advice and he sold me the ash to make the Hurley, so go check out their TikTok page. Impressive stuff. I've had this mallet now about a year. I made the head out of ash and the handle was made out of maple then. Now, I have another chunk of ash here I had drying for about a year, so I think I'm going to make another one. We can grab our rip cut saw and get to work. Then we can turn it on its side and use our cross cut saw. And there we go, lads, we have the rough shape of our mallet. I'm after slap beating the vise now and we can get the Stanley number 5 and playing a smooth reference surface. So now that we have it smooth and flat, I'm going to draw out a more precise shape in the mallet. You might have noticed that this mallet isn't perfectly square at the edge. It has a bit of an angle here, and that's because the shape our wrist makes when it strikes some wood. For example, here now, it fits better when there's a bit of an angle. See what I mean? So when we're marking out the shape, we'll grab this fella here. It's kind of an adjustable square. So I've set it to 7 degrees now. We're going to line it up against the edge of the wood, grab our marking knife here and inscribe where we want to make our cut. Then we can grab our tenon saw, line it up and start cutting. Once we have the angle cut, then we can grab our low angle plane and smoothing away the end grain on the mallet. So I have the hole marked out where the handle's going to fit in, and now we're going to just bring it up to our bracing bit and drill the hole down the middle. So I have the hole cut the entire way through, so to finish it off we need to put it back into our vise and use our mallet and chisel to bore out the rest of the mortise. So we have the hole properly cut out now and it's time to move on to the handle. I'm going to use a smoothing plane here to shave down the end of the handle into a tapered finish like this here. Now, so I have it tapered at the end and we're going to see if it just fits, and then yeah, it fits very nicely. So I'm going to spend a few minutes now shaping the handle, making it round and kind of giving the head a bit of a curve as well. I have a little shoulder plane here that I'm just using to kind of round off the edges. I'm trying to give the new handle a curve like this here. So I have what's known as a compass plane, and basically you twist the handle and you can adjust how curved you want the sole of the plane to be. So I have it set here and we're just going to use it to curve that shape of the mallet. We have the curve cut. Now I'm going to use the cabinet scraper again just to give it a proper finish. The head is looking fairly well, so now it's time to round out the handle. Give it a go off the spoke shave. I have the handle in the vise here now and I'm going to cut a quick slit down the end of it. Then I can get a little wedge like this and slot it into the slit I just created. So that way when we push it into the handle, it'll kind of push the handle apart, kind of locking it into place. I have a little hammer here I'm going to use to drive in the wedge. I'll do it slowly just to make sure it's not going to crack on me. So now the wedge is in place, we grab our coping saw and just take off the excess here. Now I'm just going to use a chisel to pare off the final bit. The final step then I'll do is round over the edge of the handle with a file. So that's rounded out anyway, lads. The very last thing we'll do then is give it a bit of linseed oil. That'll stop it from drying out and cracking. So there we go, lads. We have a nice mallet now that should last a lifetime. This is the one I made just over a year ago using power tools and then an electric sander. Whereas this one we made using just hand tools. So it's nice to see how far I come. I wouldn't have been able to do it a year ago. So onwards and upwards. I found this adze head at a rally I was at yesterday. Now, she's fair blunt, a bit rusty and in need of a handle, so we'll see to that. The dogs in the street know what we're going to do about that rust. We are, of course, going to lather it in WD-40 and then sand like hell until all the rust is gone. So I've been sanding for about 20 minutes and look at the effect the pitting has made on the top. I could probably go at it for another few hours, but I think I kind of like the look of it. Now to sharpen, we're just going to chuck it in the vise here like this. And normally I wouldn't sharpen the top here, but because of all the pitting, I'm going to have to do it a small bit. So we're just going to grab our file and just spend some time fixing her up. Now we have the top flattened, so we need to sharpen the bevel here on the other side. Same story, different side. So I brought the edge back, and instead of bringing it to the diamond stone now to get it sharper, underneath the diamond stone there's like this little tool, and I barely ever used it, but there's like a knife and it's 400 grit and then 600 grit, so it's kind of like a file, so I'm going to use that for a while. So we have it sharpened now. All that's left to do is put the handle on it. Now I'm fairly sure we have a piece of ash upstairs. There we have her now, lad. Fetch! So I have a very rough shape marked out into the ash now. That means we can grab our ripcut saw here and just cut it out to shape. For the curved parts then, we have to use the keyhole saw because we can kind of twist that in the cut. So now that we have her shaped a bit, we need to plane down the top so it fits the head. After a bit of planing, it fits fairly well, so we'll just give it a few taps with the mallet. Yeah. Fits all the way through. And now to spend absolutely ages with a spoke shave, rounding it out. So I've eventually made my way up to 240 grit and we have a very smooth, nice looking handle. So to make sure the head doesn't fall off, we're just going to grab our saw here and just cut a few slits and then drive wedges into them. So I have a bit of leftover teeth here and that's what we're going to use to cut the wedges. So you can see here we have it locked into the vise here, and this is the splits that we're going to put the wedges into. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on this fella here, rub it into my finger a bit on both sides and then put it into place just there. Now grab the hammer and just tap it into place. I'm just going to come along with the second one here just to make the cross shape. So I'm just going to put that fella in there and just tap away again. So there we have it wedged. It's not the prettiest, but the head is locked on tight. Lastly then, I'm just going to cover it in a bit of linseed oil just to make the grain pop and preserve the wood. So we have it done now, lads, and I think it turned out fairly nicely. After a bit of research, I found out it's a shipwright's adze, and this fella here, the peg pole, would have been using for driving boats or pegs down below the surface of the wood, so it's fairly cool. All that's left to do now is put it to the test. I'm here on a piece of ash now, and basically all I'm going to do is line myself up like this and just... You can see here we have a fairly rough but flat surface, so all we need to do then will be bring it to the hewing hatchet and then the plane. So it's a fairly useful tool, well worthy of its place on the handrail of hand tools. I never really liked the look of this modern bow saw on the wall with all the old tools. There we go, look. An old 1.5 pound axe head here, and like any head, it's better when hands are involved. So she needs a handle. I've always been more of an ash man myself. Its shock resistance and flexibility make it a brilliant axe handle. This part came from a failed leave insert project that was gifted to me up in County Mayo, so sound for that, Paul? So I have the marking out done there now based off this rotted old handle. My grandfather gave me this and it was no good, but I like the shape of it, so I've hung on to it. Now for my least favourite part, using the coping saw to cut out the shape. Maybe one day I'll restore one of them frame saws you see up there on the handrail, but for now, we tile. There we go. Next thing we do then is sit away on top of the shave horse and use our spoke shave here to kind of round out the handle to the shape we want it. I like to use the wooden ones over the metal ones because when they get jammed you can just knock the iron out really quick, pull out your shavings, push it back into place or hit it back and away you go. Get off the horse now. The next thing we need to do is grab some sandpaper and just get all the rough edges smoothened out. I have the handle here in the vise, and I'm just gonna pull up a tenon saw here, and I'm cutting the slit for the wedge to go into later on. The handle is done now, and I think it's looking pretty good. So the next thing we need to do is work on the head. You can see at the back here, there's a bit of mushrooming. Someone was obviously hitting this with a hammer, but it's not too bad. So I'm gonna throw it into the vise there, grab a file, and I'm just gonna shave off the little bit of mushrooming. Now that that's all sorted, I'm just going to use a bit of sandpaper to remove the paint that I don't know was it there originally or not, but we're getting rid of it. With the paint gone, it's time to sharpen the edge. So I have the file here for starters, and I'm just going to grind away at the dull edge. I have a nice edge filed into it there now, so I'm just going to take it onto the 1000 grit diamond stone here and see if we can just get the very tip razor sharp. I'll give it a fast run off the strap then real quick. I have an old post-it here that I'm just going to slide along it. It's pretty sharp. That tore a bit, so we're just going to try again here now. And there we go. It's cutting that fairly clean. Another way to test the sharpness of an axe is to get your thumbnail and drop the axe on top of it. And if it doesn't slide off like that, see, I have it about 45 degrees and it's not sliding off. That's how you know it's good and sharp. So I have the wedge in on the top there now into the split we cut. And we're just going to use our old friend inertia to knock the handle into the head. You can see there now the wedge is sticking out through, so we'll drive that in later once we have the handle the whole way through, which I think we just about do. Good stuff. So now we just need to turn it around, and I might do this off camera because it's a delicate old task, but yeah, I'm going to drive the wedge in fairly slowly. I have the wedge in now and I'm happy with it, so I'm just going to come along with the coping saw then and cut off the excess of it here. There we have the handle on it now, and I think it turned out fantastic. Any regular listeners will know, oh my god, look at that. There we go. As I was saying, anyone who watches regularly will know that I always like to finish my handles with a drop of linseed oil, and it really kind of brings it to life and finishes it and protects it and makes the grain pop. Huh? So there she is now, all done. There's still a bit of pitting in the steel, but that's just what you're going to get with old tools. Once it's not at the edge, it won't affect the performance. So all that's left to do now is test her out. So I have a stick of willow here that's been drying for a few weeks, so it shouldn't by any means be easy, but we're going to try cut it here, and you can see we're working it like it's a carrot. Wonderful job. This was a paid commission. I really enjoyed it, and I'll probably try to find a few more axe heads, so hopefully I'll be able to do a few more of these, and I'll be able to sell them online and at fairs. Other than that, thanks for watching and sticking to the bitter end. Good luck.
Si te pide un beso, vendámelo. Yo sé que estás pensándolo. Llevo tiempo intentándolo. Mami, esto es dando y dándolo. Sabe que tu corazón conmigo te hace bam bam. Sabe que esa beba está buscando de mi bam bam. Me prueba de mi boca para ver cómo te sabe. Quiero ver cuánto amor a ti te cabe. Yo no tengo prisa, yo me quiero dar el viaje. Empezamos lento, después salvaje. Pasito a pasito, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito. Cuando tú me besas con esa destreza, yo que eres malicia con delicadeza. Pasito a pasito, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito. Y es que esa belleza es un rompecabezas, pero para montarlo aquí tengo la pieza. Oye.
Que tú me tienes temblando de noche y de día. Tú me hiciste brujería. Me quieres mandar para la tumba fría. Tú me hiciste brujería. Bruja, bruja, brujita. Tú me hiciste brujería.
Yeah. And it's okay, baby. Okay, now we can win. Yeah. Okay. 6. Okay, let's start with that. He's going in his mouth. Try to pull. Huh? Huh? The other side. All right. You okay, baby? What? Huh? Open your mouth. Open your mouth, baby. Yes. There you go. There we go. Go get it.
Oh! I just...
Call me when you want, call me when you need, call me in the morning, I'll be on the way.
Call me when you want, call me when you need, call me in the morning, I'll be on the way.
When the sky comes falling, even the sun don't shine, I got everything.
Toast to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Tip, 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 tip.
Solidify. She would never cheat, you never see her with a different guy. Ever tell you different, then it's a lie. See, that's my down bitch, see, that's my soldier. She keep that dang dang, if anyone goes there. Calm and collected, she keeps her composure, and she gon' ride for me until this thing over.
You see your things running through your head.
Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es pa' darle alegría y cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, hey Macarena.
Hey, Macarena, Macarena, Macarena. Hey, put the chopper on the nigga, turn him to a sprinter. Bitches on my dick, tell them give me 1 minute. Hey, Macarena.
We got everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride. about you, my friend, and I'll tell.
Come on, Bob.
Into the thick of it, into the thick of it, into the thick of it. Ugh.
Life goes on and 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 on. On and 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 on. On and on and on and on and on.
Huh?
Allez, descends, descends, ça suffit là.
Into the thick of it. Ugh.
Hey man, you wanna stop?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a burger. Holy sh.
Wow! Hey!
Call me when you want, call me when you need, call me in the morning, I'll be on the way.
Call me when you want, call me when you need, call me in the morning, I'll be on the way.
I see forever in your eyes. I feel okay when I see you smile. Dandelions all of the time, praying to God that one day you'll be mine. Wishing on dandelions all of the time, all of the time. Dandelion into the wind you go. Won't you let my darling know?
Si te pido un beso, ven dámelo. Yo sé que estás pensándolo. Llevo tiempo intentándolo. Mami, esto es dando y dándolo. Sabe que tu corazón conmigo te hace bam bam. Sabe que esa beba está buscando de mi bam bam. Me prueba de mi boca para ver cómo te sabe. Quiero ver cuánto amor a ti te cabe. Yo no tengo prisa, yo me quiero dar el viaje. Empezamos lento, después salvaje. Pasito a pasito, suave suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito. Cuando tú me besas con esa destreza, acaricia con delicadeza, pasito a pasito, suave suavecito, nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito. Y es que esa belleza es un rompecabezas, pero para montarlo aquí tengo la pieza. Oye.
Flying the second largest owl in the world.
Are you ready? Oh. Yeah?
Yeah. Are you ready? Are you
Good boy,
ready?
up, up.
Show him the rat, the check.
Good boy, up, up.
Keep your arm right there.
Her face is priceless.
Your face.
It's so gentle.
It's like a dinosaur. Like.